guys, so in this video we are going to be learning about outliers and the different kinds of outliers. So let's get started. Okay, so outliers basically has the meaning in the word itself. So out and liars. Outliers are going to be those data points, or they are going to be those data objects which are going to behave significantly different from all of the other data points in those data sets, right? So basically we cannot really say that these outliers are a error or noise. It can be generated because they are using two different mathematical methods to generate the data objects, or due to a execution mistake. So now we have got three different kinds of outliers. The first one is a global or a point outlier. The second one is a collective outlier, and the third one is the contextual outlier. So the major difference between your point outlier and the contextual outlier is that point outlier is going to be a single individual data point which varies significantly from the other data points in that data set, right? So this is just a single data point which is varying without any context. There is no meaning as to why there is a difference in the behavior exhibited by that one singular data point. But when we talk about contextual outliers, so these outliers, they vary from the other data points just like the point outlier did. So this is just a singular data point which is varying, but this is in context with a condition, right? So this is a contextual outlier. It is important for us to know what the context is as to why that particular data point becomes an outlier, and this would help the user in understanding the relation between. And contextual outlier analysis provides flexibility for the user where they can easily examine outliers in different contexts. So we got done with the global or the point outlier, and we got done with the contextual outlier. Now we are going to be talking about a collective outlier. So all these outliers that we already talked about, that is the point outlier and the contextual outlier. So these outliers were a single point, but your collective outlier is going to be a collection of data points that vary significantly or that are behaving in a particular fashion which is different from the remaining data sets in, or the remaining data points in the data set. So now it is important for us to know the relationship between the outliers and the other data points, right? So this basically means that if you were to pick an outlier from the entire collection and relate them with the non-outliers, right, there won't be much difference. But as a collection, there is going to be some variation between them and the remaining data objects in the data set. That is why it is important to know the background relationship between these outliers which are showing the outlier behavior, just so that we can analyze them better. So these are the three types of outliers. We talked about global or point outlier, but global or point outlier, which is just a point which is behaving significantly different from all of the data points. We talked about contextual outlier, that is again similar to your point outlier, just that we need to know the context due to which this outlier is behaving in a certain way. And then the third one is the collective outlier, where a collection of data objects behaves as a outlier. So one example of your global or point outlier is going to be if you are given a data set, say 1, 2, 3, 15. So we can see that the difference between 1, 2 and 3 is of 1 each, but when we come to 15, the difference between 15 and 3 is more than 1. So this data object 15 becomes an outlier in this case. Just because it is a single point, then this becomes a global or point outlier. When you're talking about collective outlier, if we can see in this example, all of them together are outliers for this entire data object, right? And then the third one which we talked about was contextual outlier. So temperatures in May is going to be higher during summers than it is going to be during winters. So this data point over here becomes an outlier in the context of temperatures. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you understood what is outliers and its three different types. If you have any doubts, please don't forget to let me know in the comment section below. That is it. Bye.